We're just raw dogging it by this point. At this point, I'm just, whatever comes out of my mouth is what we're going to use. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Feelings and Other F Words. I'm Dr. Daryl Appleton, and the F word this week is funny. Now, set your bar real low. I can't promise I will be funny at all during this, but my guest will be, and we'll get into him in a little bit. But I want to talk about the research behind humor, and there's a ton of it. And guess what? We still don't know what funny means. It's almost like we cannot wrap our heads around humor from a scientific standpoint. Like, that's the cosmic joke. So let me bring it back a little bit. We've been studying humor for a hot second, not just what humor is or how it impacts our brain and our bodies. Like, we'll get into all that, but specifically what makes something funny, we don't know, because we can't really grasp the vastness of it, which I think is hilarious. And it's not something we've been grappling with for the last 100 years or 200 years or 5. Literally, Plato was looking at this, and he has this theory called superiority theory, meaning we find things funny when we feel superior. So we laugh at former versions of ourselves. We'll laugh at the misfortune of others because it makes us feel better. And I have this theory, sidebar. I have this theory that why people love reality TV so much is kind of like this superiority theory. It's like, I'm a little crazy, but I'm not as crazy as that Real Housewife. So it makes me feel better about myself to tune in because I can get it, right? I can relate, but not to that level. So now it's entertainment. So funny might look like mocking or self-deprecating in the world of Plato looking at it, which is a part, if you really want to take a keen eye, it really truly is a part to humor. Then enters Freud, which this man shows up everywhere. Enter Freud into the humor chat, which I did not expect him to be in, but here he is. Freud had something in mind called relief theory when it came to funny things. And in true Freud fashion, say that 10 times fast, he found that humor comes from releasing steam, from pent-up nervous energy that we can let go of. Sounds really sexual, huh? Guess what? It's Freud. Are you surprised? I'm not. But he really then went on to talk about this is why taboo jokes and sex jokes land, because we don't need to suppress these, quote, inappropriate emotions. We can laugh at the thing that we're deeply feeling inside. So again, wildly on brand, but did not expect Freud to show up. But it does make sense. I think about roasts. Like, I just watched the roast of Tom Brady not too long ago. And roasts kind of make you cringe and you're like laughing kind of, but not really because you're cringing because it's like wildly inappropriate. Like, my shoulders were at my earlobes watching the roast of Tom Brady because it was so cringy. And who knows, maybe Freud's right. Maybe I released some pent up nervous energy that I had about things, but I kept watching. I did. I will say it. The third theory is a little different, and it talks about incongruency and this idea that things can have double meanings, and that's what makes it funny. Or we can start a joke or a story in one place, and the comic or the storyteller takes us off a cliff on a wagon on fire, and it's somewhere we didn't expect to end up. So there's entertainment in things being incongruent. One thing doesn't lead to another. It leads to something completely out of this world. And that's what makes it funny. But really, that's what we've got. That's what we've got for theories about why stuff is funny. And again, we would all understand what funny is. Like, you and I can be like, oh my God, that was hysterical. But again, the nuances are really hard to nail down. And that is hysterical. I find myself very much entrenched in parent humor, parent memes, millennial stuff, even toddler survival stuff. And I find it hysterical because it does allow for a release. It does allow, like Freud, right? All these things are proving me right, or I'm proving them right. But it does allow for this release when I'm screaming at my kid in the moment. It's not funny, but then I can go online and be like, oh, fucking thank God I'm not the only one that does that feels this way. And they project it in such a funny way that might be a little incongruent. but that makes it funny. It's still traumatic, but there's the humor, and it allows us weirdly to heal. So humor is wildly important. It's wildly important. I just thought of that meme. It's like, did you have a happy childhood or are you funny? Like it's so important for healing for things, because if not, we can fall into this pit of despair very quickly. Now, researchers also looked at the evolutionary benefits of humor, and what they found was that humor is something that occurs in every single society. Period. Every single society has their own versions of humor and laughter. So there must be something to it beneath the surface of just feeling good. And what researchers on the evolutionary side of things in psych, especially in Quarterly Review of Biology, they found that there was this theory that natural selection actually favors characteristics that foster group survival. What that basically means is people who can laugh together tend to like each other more. And when you like each other more, you look out for each other more. And when you look out for each other more, you survive longer. Thus, you win in natural selection. So it's really important for bringing communities together, for camaraderie, for things like trust building, for empathy, for understanding. All of that stuff deeply matters, weirdly, / not so weirdly, in our survival. Also important to note that researchers found in the humor and laughter thing, every society has it, but also apes and rats also have humor and laugh. So that New York City subway rat that you're seeing dragging a giant slice of pizza down the subway stairs, he finds it just as funny as you do and goes back home to his rat friends and laughs about it. Which, I mean, I get. What's a day in the life of a city rat if there's not some laughter? Now, there's also studies of different types of laughter. Like literally, people, I went down a rabbit hole. Like you would think it wouldn't be this deep, but people dedicate their lives to studying this stuff, and I love them for it. I'm sure you already know. When you laugh, you feel better. When you laugh, you feel less stressed. When you laugh, you have a shared bond. But a lot of times, the other side of it is laughter can actually make you more attractive. There are studies that show that humor makes people more desirable because humor is a sign of a healthy brain, good genetics, and overall attraction with good, quote unquote, good partners. Meaning, like, you're sexy as fuck when you're funny. Pete Davidson effect. Like, this is what it is. Like, what do they call it now? Like rodent boyfriend? Like, you can look like a subway rat grabbing piece of pizza down the subway stairs, but like if you're funny, you could get it. And I think there's something beautiful to that. It's a unique trait that not everybody can have. Like, just like you're born with your genetics, some people are born funny. And researchers also studied this as well. It is really difficult / almost impossible to make people funnier. We can work on timing. We can work on how we say jokes. Like, obviously, comics have coaches, but truly, there is this place and space where, like, you're either funny or you're not. And that's because funny people are more intelligent. They have more literal cognitive intelligence, meaning they see the world around them. They can extract different scenarios and situations. They can craft a story. They can say it in a way that makes sense, that matters, that has suspense. And they're also more emotionally intelligent, meaning they can read a room. Like, we're not going to, tell a joke in an inappropriate room that it's not going to land, because why am I going to do that? That is the recipe for funny. You're smart and you know the people around you. And I think that that's beautiful, right? Really, there's something really wonderful about that. Like, maybe you can go to the plastic surgeon and make yourself look like a Kardashian or whoever you want to look like, but you can't, there's no transplant for funny. I guess maybe ChatGPT. I don't know. We'll see what AI has to say on about this, but there is something really interesting about funny people and that attractiveness and finding a mate. I just read too somewhere, American Singles Survey. I think that's what it's called. The 2022 version. 92% of singles said that they were looking for somebody to make them laugh. That was like one of the main characteristics they were looking for in a mate. So it's also like not just a few people. It's like a lot slash most. That's how important humor is. Now, the other thing that I find really interesting is like art imitating life, life imitating art. Humor also changes with society. Child of the 90s here. What was funny back in the 90s, sometimes I will watch like old Chappelle shows and I'm like, ooh, yeah, this would not land today. This might piss a few people off. But it's a reflection of the times. And I think we've gotten into labeling like good, bad, and different, like, apologize. Feel however you want about that. That's fine. But what I do think is that it's almost an anthropological study of the times around the people surrounding it. If we look how words have changed over times, the meaning of words have drastically changed. And that's just a sign of also culture shifting. So the things that are funny and were acceptable to laugh at back then may not be here now. So humor is also always evolving, which I find to be really interesting as well. And I don't need to tell you this, like when you find yourself around funny people or you're watching funny things, literally, you are getting dopamine, you're getting serotonin, and this happens on both directions or in both directions. If I am listening to a joke and laughing, I get the same effect as if I am telling a joke and making somebody else laugh. So there's something really beautiful about a shared experience in dopamine, because a lot of times it's one-sided, right? Somebody is doing and the other person is receiving. Here, the beautiful thing about humor is everybody wins. So if you're finding yourself in a lower place, I tell my clients all the time, like, go watch a comedy. Don't watch like a murder mystery. Like, no, we don't need Dateline tonight. Like, we need a nice feel-good comedy. Go watch a rom-com. There's a reason why people love like a campy Emily in Paris or like a Bridgerton, like this escape from reality that has humor into it. The DC stuff, Deadpool, like there's a reason why this stuff does so well, especially fucking now. Look at the world around us. We could all use some humor. And this is where I think social media really has drawn people in and filled that void in a really unique way. And after the break, we're going to be talking with actor, content creator, New Englander. He is the Duncan guy. He's gone viral on more than one occasion, Mr. Ian Brownhill, about his foyer into humor and using his humor to connect with audiences, to connect with culture, and to bring relief to people in a darker time looking for an escape. And I think that is amazing. After the break, Mr. Ian Brownhill will be joining me to talk a little bit more about the F word humor. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Feelings and Other F Words. I have with me actor, model, content creator, entrepreneur, sexiest man in New England, Ian Brownhill. Welcome back.
Yes. Take two.
Welcome back, because actually, this is a thought. You are the reason that I've been gone from my audience for 2 whole months.
This was a strategy that I started from the very get-go. I uploaded your computer in our first podcast with a little bug so that it would all crash and burn. And now you had to come and use our podcast studio to start filming your first in-person interviews.
I know. It's like, so for those of you who are just catching up to this, Ian and I filmed 2.5 months ago. None of the audio recorded. None of the video recorded. And the entire time, Ian was so gracious. He's like, does it sound good? Can you hear me? Are you sure? And I'm like, do not worry about it. I have it completely under control. I did not.
In fact, was a lie.
And here we are.
We're
back. And now I'm with you doing this in a million different capacities. And we've become very close in the meantime.
We have.
So I feel like this is even better.
Yes, 100%.
And today we're talking about funny and the whole science of funny. And you're funny, right? You think you're funny?
I try. I try to be.
Funny-ish.
Funny-ish.
But I love the idea of sitting with people who are really good at what they do in all these different ways. And you're really good at funny. How does that take me through how you craft something? Like, just bring me through your process.
Yeah. So I think, to clarify, in most scenarios, and it's kind of stereotypical, that a lot of people who end up in the comedic world, we usually come from a background where we have a lot of stuff that has occurred in our lives. And the best way to handle that for me has been laughter. So in turn, throughout my adolescent schooling, sports, I was always kind of the class clown, the guy that needed to always tell the joke, even if it was the wrong time, the one that always wanted the eyes on him, always tried to be funny. So, and it comes with some pros and cons, but that led me to, pursuing my acting career and trying to get involved in the entertainment business in some capacity. And then, of course, COVID hit. I started making content. I followed along with what the algorithm in TikTok was telling me to do. And then finally I was like, hey, you know what? I think I can make people laugh on my own. Maybe I don't do the sound bites. Maybe I try to make some original content. And then the stars aligned and, here I am. And I just try to bring a little bit of fun or funny and joy into people's lives by poking fun at the stereotypes here in New England, or just trying to be relatable in some capacity, because as much as we all need a good cry now and again, most of the time laughter can fix a lot of pain. So that's what I try to aim for.
Well, if you can't, to keep from crying, sometimes you just need to laugh in a scenario. No, it reminds me of that meme of like, are you normal, or did you have childhood trauma and you're funny? Like, it's like one or the other. How do you think you've like harnessed it and cultivated your craft in funny? Like, was there a process, or do you have like a mindset that you get into? Because I know you well now. Like, there's multiple sides of you that people don't always see, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, I think it's kind of that being someone who is kind of, I guess, my ADHD, as I like to say, not as an excuse, but I've used it to my advantage in the sense that when I'm in settings, when I'm around people, I am able to observe at a high capacity and turn that information over quickly to make comments, to do a performance, a joke, mimic individuals, whatever it is. So I try everything and I listen to my audience, whether that's TikTok, Instagram, which are two different audiences, the individuals in front of me, my friends, my family. As we talked, because you have become my life coach, I have an ability to become a chameleon. And it's not in a dangerous way, but I know what people like and expect of me. So when it comes to the funny aspect of that, I know what the person sitting across from me is looking for humor-wise. So I really ham up that type of humor. My wife really loves when things are extremely silly. So she likes when I'm very childish and I'm like running around the house and I'm like screaming and jumping on and I look like an 8-year-old toddler who just had too much sugar, which in most cases, that's really the case. I had too much sugar and I go nuts. But yeah, so I think it really just stems from pulling inspiration from what's occurring in that moment, because humor usually can live in a moment a lot better than it does, in my opinion, recalling things, because it kind of engages people in the moment, and that's the easiest way to captivate them, prevent them from thinking too much.
Well, it's kind of cool because you're finding a way to connect with people in unique ways that allow them to connect with you, or, just a side of you that you are engaging in that point. I do have like a ton of questions too, and I won't ask them because it's private. I just have these visions of your wife like walking in as you're filming and then like just slowly shutting the door and walking away.
Not only that, but it always happens at the perfect moment when it's the scene where I decided to put on her robe. I have a wig on, I'm wearing her shirt, and she's just like, I don't want to know. I just hope it better go viral, because if this one tanks and you stretched out my favorite shirt for nothing, I'm going to be upset.
Another pair of pantyhose, really?
I only tried that once and these ham hocks didn't do well. So I just split that and bought her a new one, called it a day.
There you go. But the science behind funny is interesting, because people who are perceived as funny are actually seen as a higher status level, which I think is fascinating. They're also seen as more attractive. So like, look at this. You got lots of things going on. Just this, because people are relating this to, okay, they're quick on their feet. I see it a lot with athletes too. I can't do that. I can't buy that athletic ability or that funny. So I'm going to look at somebody who does it and does it really well and be like, oh, I like this person. They have something that I could never necessarily like take a class on or learn about. And I think that is so, so cool. Have you ever had that happen or thought of that?
Yeah. I mean, I think I've said this so many times in so many aspects of my life, and funny is a great way to kind of put it, is that it's like I find my personality and my individualness being an acquired taste. People who think I'm funny think I'm really funny. People who don't find me funny think I'm dumb. They hate me. They tell me in the comment section, they don't find me attractive. They think everything I do, is annoying. So it's just funny to me that the people who do enjoy it, they're like, oh my God, you're so funny. I'm like, I didn't think I was so funny. I don't view myself that way. You know, like I'm like, oh, this is kind of funny. It's relatable. But people will say these incredibly kind stuff in my messages. And I'm like, you know, obviously I'm filled with like joy and feeling like I have a purpose and it's all these great things. But, you know, ultimately, I think it's just my ability to kind of turn it on and becoming an extrovert is what captivates and makes people kind of gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm a nice person. I don't know. I try.
Yeah, you seem all right. I mean, there is a dopamine rush, right?
Yeah.
I'm laughing. I'm getting that rush. Like, and now I want more.
Yeah.
What I do find interesting is the juxtaposition between everything you just said. Like, I'm here to make people laugh. Like, I'm doing this. Like, I know, I get it. And then people are like, you're dumb. You posted something the other day of everybody in your comments, and I laughed. I laughed so hard because it was so true of like, nobody talks like that.
Right.
Get a job, get a real life. You know,
Yeah.
how do you balance the two of like, I want to make people laugh and I'm doing this for fun and it is my job, but like, I want to connect to, why are you here if you don't like me?
Right.
What do you do with that?
I think I started saying this mantra to myself a while ago, which is that I don't want to be the person that goes online and says, well, I don't care what people say. I don't care what people, of course I do. I'm a human being. I care what people say. I don't value it. And I think that for me, that has been huge. So like, yes, I care if you don't think what I'm wearing is nice, but I'm not going to value that. You don't know me. You don't know why I'm wearing this. You don't know what about this outfit I might enjoy. So if it doesn't do it for you, sure. So in this interpersonal moment for a second, my feelings are hurt, but feelings change. They're fluid. They're very quick, come and go. So I'm kind of more like, I value it. I wish you didn't feel that way. I mean, excuse me, it hurts my feelings. Like, I hear you, I care, but I'm not going to value it.
Oh, that's such good life advice. Add life coach to
Yeah.
your list of things. I mean, your Boston, Red Sox hat offends me, and I do not like it.
Luckily this isn't my podcast, so I'm not saying anything.
But I do think that's really great advice because I have to imagine being in the public eye, and I work with a lot of high performers that are not as visible necessarily as you are, but there's so much about, I'm here to do a good job, but I have to have this thick skin or I have to have this mantra. Did somebody tell you that? Did you just come up with this on your own? Like, how did you get there?
Well, I've always been interested in the motivational space. So anytime it comes to self-help, when it comes to like books, podcasts, that's kind of always a space I've lived in. So I've had every kind of mantra and motivational speaker you can think of in my ear. So it's kind of that I got to a point where I was like, man, like I got to stop telling myself that I don't care because these are hurting my feelings. But I'm like, you know what? At the same time, like I get over it. You know, like what matters to me is like, if my wife doesn't like it, I value her opinion. And I noticed like if someone close to me said something, it burned in my brain. And next time I was making a video, I was thinking, oh, they said that part wasn't funny or it was kind of offensive. Let me not do that again. Versus I get, let's say 10 hate comments a video. I've made 3,000 or 4,000 videos at this point over 4 years. I don't think about those when I make the next one. You know, it's like, so it's just, it kind of progressively happened organically on its own, I guess. I don't know. It kind of, yeah. One of those things that kind of just happened and I just started to try and adopt it the best I can. But I've got, I have rough days and I've got good days.
I think that is wonderful to hear. I think that we need to talk more about that stuff in success. And when I was on your podcast, the So New England podcast,
yes,
we talked about the Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
I feel like it's important that we bring up Kobe again for you.
Kobe Bean.
Yeah. Like that truly is that of like the next shot, the next one, keep going.
Right.
And having your tribe matters, especially when it's so subjective funny.
Yeah.
It really truly is. Do you not put out stuff that you don't like doesn't align with you? Have you ever put out stuff that you're like, ooh, like other people find this funny, but like this does not sit well with me?
I don't know that I have. I think there's a few times I might have pushed the needle on certain jokes to try and make them funny, and I've understood that I am walking a fine line on if it could be potentially offensive or not. But of course, offensive to who? Subjective.
Those 10 people in your comments.
Yeah, but I try not to, look, I'm not perfect. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've done some really dumb stuff in my life. And I don't like to say the word regret, but there's a lot of things I'm like, wow, I wish I was more mature. I wish I could have made safer, smarter decisions. But when it comes to, the content stuff, it's been more like, I'm just gonna do it. And when it comes to doing what I like, that's what I'm going to lean towards. And for me, not working with brands or not doing products or pushing objectives or having conversations, for example, political things, I don't do that on my page. Like, I just try and stay clear of that.
Yeah.
And so, yes, but no.
No, I think that's interesting too, because like as you grow as a person in whatever career you're in, it's important to also create that space of, this is what works for me, and if it doesn't work for me, it's not going to work for any of you.
Right.
And I love that. Now, what advice would you have for people who are, maybe they don't feel like they fit in, or maybe they're going through their tough time, trauma, capital T, lowercase t trauma, and they have a knack for being funny? Like, what advice would you give them if they were sitting on the proverbial couch?
Well, it depends on what they're trying to do with it. If they're trying to heal themselves with it, then I think it's kind of fluid. I think time will always allow for those things to kind of cure themselves and produce and yield productive result. And you'll kind of know naturally. I feel like life kind of does that. It kind of points you in the direction that you should be going. But if you're trying to use it in a career sense, like I've done, I will say that I found in life, social media and off of it, there is a corner of this earth for everyone. So no matter what your humor is, no matter what your interests are, there is someone out there that is very much like you. There is someone that is going to like you, that's going to think that you're funny and is going to enjoy it.
So put it out there.
Put it out there.
Get it out there.
Just do it.
Get your funny.
Yeah.
I've been with my 3-year-old twins a lot, like, shake your sillies out.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Shake your sillies out.
Shake your sillies out, guys. No, but this I think is incredibly important. I think we take life very seriously all the time. It's important to know there are things outside of the hard, really deep, really kind of dark times. And it's okay to laugh. It's okay to find things online that make you laugh and maybe triage or titrate down off the stuff that doesn't. Like, I think that's important too.
100%. I couldn't agree more.
Anything else you want our listeners to know? I want to also talk about your next steps in life, but anything else you want them to know right now about you, about funny, about
I think the world, regardless of where you're at, I think there is this immense stress that has come along with social media. And I think that, in my opinion, of course, we were not supposed to know as much as we know, like social media has provided. And I think it's caused a lot of us to shift gears because we're feeling protective of our own safety in this world, whether that's safety from verbal or physical or emotional or individual, whatever it is. And I think the only thing I could say is lean into funny, try to lighten up a little bit. Yes, life is short, but it doesn't have to be that short. And it's going to be a lot shorter if you spend your entire time grumpy about it. So outside of extenuating circumstances where there's things really drastic going on in your life, try and relax, laugh a little bit, lighten up.
Nobody gets out alive
and come to my page because I'm funny as hell. No, I'm kidding.
And nice to look at, everybody.
Yes.
We're starting video here. I'm glad you guys get to
I didn't
see
know I was going to
that.
get all these compliments. I wouldn't have been in a hoodie and a hat. Although I'm growing the hair out right now, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Also, you have a magical beard. I feel like one day it's gone, and then 2 days later it's there. It's like you're a wizard.
Well, here's a fun fact about social media. Repurposing content is a great way to keep yourself on track. So sometimes my beard will be thick and then shaved, and I'll have long hair, short hair. It's because it's older videos. I'm just repurposing.
Oh, I should know that.
But I did shave for the first time for Halloween because I was dressed up as Nacho Libre. So speaking of being funny, great movie. And so that's been, 3 weeks to get me back to here.
Are you doing the no shave November?
No, I think not on purpose.
Just
and I'm a bit of like a gotta be very clean and together when it comes to my hair and my face. So.
Well, you have this Peaky Blinders side of you that I have seen, and that's definitely
Birmingham, England. I told Miss Shelby.
Now, the millennial stuff seems to be something that is picking up, at least on Instagram.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
I have so much fun with it.
It's so good.
It's my childhood. I think millennials, I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, actually. Millennials have had the best experience of life in human history, I think.
Oh, yeah. I
The
agree.
discovery and production of the internet and social media, television, and more importantly, music. And music is one of the greatest communicators of human history, in my opinion. And we've got the best.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up listening to all the 60s and 70s and 80s because of my mom. And then I was in the 90s experiencing it for real. And then the 2000s. And now I don't know what the hell it is, this mumble stuff, but I don't know what happened to music. But there are a lot of really great artists, but I've leaned more into country recently.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right. What was on your playlist on the way here?
I was actually listening to Freak a Leak by P.D. Pablo. So apologies in advance if anyone Googles and looks up what that is if you're not familiar, but
That is amazing.
Yeah, got me
and
hyped
really
a
gets
little bit.
the blood going.
Yeah, that's it. Sometimes you just got to get the juices going, and nothing gets it going like a little Freak a Leak, I guess.
The warm up song, the walkout song. I'm excited to see the next episode of So New England Podcast. I hope that that's your intro as you walk into the studio.
What would be your walkout song? Do you have like a song that would be like if you were coming out of the tunnel? Although it would take 20 minutes to get through your accolades and accomplishments and how successful you are. But once we got through that and you would be long clear from the tunnel. You'd be across the court at this point. But let's say hypothetically you were right there at the end. What would be your song?
You know how to treat a lady. I adore you. I think that I'm really into like New Orleans jazz.
Ooh, okay.
Weirdly, it like soothes me.
Oh,
I have
no,
a
that
playlist.
sounds wonderful.
My kids know at home. I like put it on like C.W. Stone King.
Okay.
And it's this like dark, moody kind of voodoo jazz, and it like immediately calms us all down. It would probably be something like that.
Oh,
but
nice.
I too am a child of the 90s, so
Yeah.
maybe Church by T-Pain.
Ooh.
Add it to the
Wow.
list.
I wish we're not there yet, but if we had the ability to just start pumping music through the headphones
Yep.
so we could all
Boop.
hear it, maybe Vin will put it over top for you. But
That's a good one. That's
yeah,
a good one.
no, but yeah, jazz is beautiful. I love sound. I love music. I'm
Yeah.
really big into Irish music. I love listening to a good Irish ukulele and flute, or oh yeah,
Yeah.
give me a little bit of Irish stuff,
Okay.
folk music, 24/7. Love that.
Wow.
Depends on it's all about moods, but
We went on a journey there. There was a lot.
yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. Your
I-
episodes are not long enough for me.
I have to take some time to process all of this. We will have to get back to it, but very dynamic. Love it. This might also be
I already
something.
know where you're going with this.
Do you?
I don't know. Go for it.
I feel like, so for me and the music piece, and we'll probably end on these, but like a lot of it's been tainted
Oh yeah.
with the Diddy thing.
Oh yeah, 100%. Not where I thought you were going with this, by the way. So I'm so glad I didn't speak up. I thought we were going to be on the same page. I thought we were going to say that he should be the one performing at the Super Bowl in Louisiana this year.
well,
but-
obviously. I feel like that goes without saying.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
yeah.
That's like Springsteen
It's
and,
pretty
and Bon
offensive.
Jovi not, performing in New York, New Jersey.
Right.
But no, the Diddy stuff, has it impacted the way you listen to your millennial playlist?
The only thing it's impacted is that people want to tell me how to live my life,
Nah.
in the sense they're like, you should be boycotting this and like making me. I'm like, look, I get it. I understand. I empathize. I'm with it. Whatever songs I can't avoid, I absolutely will. But this was my life. This was my childhood. This is music. This is separate.
Right.
He's behind bars. I don't know how royalties work. Maybe he's not getting this money. I don't know what to tell you. But like,
Yeah.
Shake Your Tail Feather is my fucking joint. So that shit comes on. I'm not skipping it. I'm going to get down to it.
Right.
I'll just pretend I don't hear Diddy's parts. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's been interesting for me of like, there's a visceral reaction I think I now have. I'm like, J-Lo, maybe not this one.
Oh, okay. That's fair, though. See, I don't think I would do a straight up P. Diddy song, but he was on so many
I know.
and he produced so many that I'm like,
I feel that way about R. Kelly too. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I love a good slow wind, but
Yeah.
Is
There's only like, it's really only been like 2 or 3 songs for me with R. Kelly, so it's pretty easy to get over.
yeah.
But P. Diddy has literally made everything.
Well,
So
I mean, no, but I think that's interesting because we're in interesting times. Anyway,
it's
we
the
took-
remix to Ignition. Nah, it's going to be stuck in my head.
good luck with that. Final question.
Yes.
What is your favorite F word?
Let's see. Friggin'.
I like friggin'.
Yeah, friggin', probably.
Why?
Well, because my slogan, good friggin' morning from New England, folks. Or you got to be friggin' kidding me. Are you friggin' nuts? Look at this friggin' guy. What the frick is going on? You know?
Do you find it like slips out during like normal conversation?
All the time. Sometimes honestly, I've done this fake accent so long now that it's starting to come out in certain words. So.
See? There you go.
It happens.
Art imitating life.
I'm morphing.
There you
I'm
go.
going full method.
Next time I see you, you're going to be in your Duncan onesie.
Yeah. I had shorts for this, but people are offended by my legs, so I try to put pants on.
I heard. And listen, don't judge him and his legs, okay? Just let the man live.
Please, let me live.
Ian Brownhill, everyone, thank you for joining us. I know you'll be back again, and I know we'll be talking very soon.
Yes.
But thank you for being here and telling us all about your funny.
Yes, an honor and a privilege. Thank you very much for having me.
Anytime.
Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.